Haman, the money is given to you, the people also to do with them as it seems. So the king didn't take the money. He didn't take the money. But he gave Haman the power to excommunicate a whole community. This was a dark cloud hanging in the territories of Israel. It was a sad moment and a sad reality. And the chapter 12 says the king's scribes were summoned. These are the men who used to write the king's letter. So these men were called. And on the 13th day of the first month, the month of Nisan, an edict according to all that Haman commanded was written to the king's satraps and to the governors over all the provinces and to the officials of all the people. Now the satraps were leaders in regions. These leaders, they collected tax on behalf of the king. They had an army because they were in charge of internal security. They were like the eyes of the king in that territory, though they carried some form of independence. So all the ranks of power received this particular edict, which was a command from the king. That's what the Bible says. And was written to kings, governors, the province, and to officials. Every province in its own script and every people in its own language, because of the diversity of the culture that lived in the nation and the empire of Persia. It was written in the name of King Ahasuerus and sealed with the king's signet ring. Letters were sent by couriers. This was the way of dispersing the letter. So the verdict is already made. The letter is written. It looks like now it is over for the children of Israel. And as if that was not enough, there was something that looked like a motivation. Something that looked like a motivation. Because the people were told, to kill, to destroy, and to plunder over, because that is already a demonic motivation. You can imagine you're living in this territory and you're told on this day, the 14th of the month of Adar, if you see an Israelite, kill that Israelite and then plunder their goods or destroy their goods. So if you are my neighbor and maybe you're an Israelite and you are rich, possibly I will be planning on how to plunder. So first of all is kill you, then plunder. So this looked like the motivation that was upon the people to make sure that no Israelite survives. And the king in his carelessness gives Haman the signet ring. And the signet ring approves the letter. And the letter is sent in the territories all over. The letter is sent all over. And as soon as the letter arrives, this is what the Bible says. A copy of the document was to be issued as a decree in every province by proclamation to all the people to be ready for that day. Now you can imagine. So if I'm the leader, let's take our governmental structure. You have a governor, you have a senator, you have an MCA. So the governor receives the letter, he passes them to the MCAs, the MCAs passes them to the village elders, and the village elders gathers everybody and say, this is the letter from the king. And this is a law, this is a decree, that on the 14th day of the month of Adar, 11 months from now, you will kill every Jew. You will assassinate them and plunder their goods and destroy everything that they have. So no Jew should survive. And the Bible says, and the king and Haman sat down. The Bible says, the courier went out hurriedly by order of the king, and the decree was issued in Susa, the citadel. So this was the capital city of Persia, where the power seat dwelled. When the decree was read, there was confusion. Some of the Persians had intermarried with the Jews. So there was confusion in terms of, okay, what's happening? So there was confusion in the territory. And Haman sat down to drink, but the city of Susa was thrown into confusion. So Haman went back, mission accomplished. Haman went back, mission accomplished. The letter is written. It has the king's signet ring. It's already distributed in the territories of Israel. Of Persia. And this sounds like the end of the children of Israel. This, for me, this chapter is very real. Because if the other chapters were not, if we don't take time to read the other chapters, it looks like it is over for the children of Israel. Because a sober king will not reverse his words. We saw the first decision he made concerning Vashti. And when he thought about Vashti, he was cancelled and was told, listen, forget about that woman. Get virgins, select one of them, marry. So Haman rises, and this decree is well analyzed. This is where we begin to see things that were not dealt with, possibly in families, things that were not dealt with, showing up again in a certain generation. Because we see Esther is from the house of Kish.